Are you watching the game?
Yeah.
They're the worst team in the world.
How much you want to bet they score under 10 points?
I'm not making that bet. I'm not betting on the Bears scoring. I'll be happy if they put up a point. Yeah.
Yo, shut up, okay? I'm about to record my podcast.
All right, welcome back to another episode of the Say Less Basketball Podcast. What episode is this? 38, I think. Just me and Mohammed today. Our other two guys, yeah, they're busy watching the Bears game. Couldn't record it. It's a little difficult, I know. I know Jack isn't watching the Bears game. He just wants to jump on the bandwagon and try and roast me for being late, even though I communicated that I let everybody know I use my words, sent out invites in less than 2 minutes, which is a record. So we're just gonna talk, got a conversation going today. We're gonna talk about everything going on in the NBA, especially some big name teams, and especially the Bulls. We're both Bulls fans. Now we got the Bulls fans on the podcast today. The actual Bulls fans, right? You don't have to hear any Steph Curry crap. He's the best player in the league. No, he's not. Okay, he's not. He's never been. He never will be. Sorry. So let's just start with teams that have surprised us. I'll say off firsthand, the Warriors have surprised me. Only because I just didn't expect them to win like this. I kind of thought they were going to be mediocre the whole year. So.
I mean, that opening night against the Lakers, that was surprising. And then after that, they haven't really played like any big teams, so I'm not surprised by the record, really.
I thought they did play one more big team.
I mean, I know they played the Thunder yesterday. They played the Grizzlies before that. And then they played
schedule. Oh, they played the Lakers twice. They beat them both times. Oh, that's preseason. God, I was like, I didn't know that. The Clippers. Okay, I'll give them. Clippers win is somewhat impressive to me.
Yeah.
I mean, the Clippers haven't looked that good so far. They're another team I'd be kind of surprised by in terms of like they're kind of playing a little worse than I would have anticipated. Right now, they're the 12th seed, 1-4, one win. That's shocking to me.
It's because of Paul George's supporting cast. Nobody's like, I mean,
he's hitting shots
against the Trailblazers. He scored 42. Nobody else had double figures, I think. It was crazy.
Now, LeBron fans about to come out and be like, oh, now you know how LeBron's felt this whole time. I do feel bad, though, because I like Paul George. I really like him. I think he gets a ton of slander for no reason. I will say his playoff woes have been basically 1 year, but it was enough to be like, whoa, But yeah. I like him. And this is what?
Like the whole bubble thing was just because nobody liked the Clippers because of their whole too much talking.
They had a bad rep. Yeah. They did. But this is a great year. This is a great opportunity for him to like announce himself to probably enter the top 10 players potentially. I don't know where people would have him now. But like really solidify himself as a team leader, take over a team. It's a great chance for him. They look like trash right now. But I gotta be honest with you, the NBA is really upside down to me.
Yeah.
I mean, we got look at the four teams in the East play-in tournament right now. 3 of those 4 teams I would expect to be at the top. Milwaukee, Brooklyn, Atlanta. Come on.
Yep. I mean, other than the Clippers, the West, I don't, like the bottom half, I don't really see I guess the Suns too, but they're 2 and 3, so.
They're at least in the play-in tournament, yeah.
Yeah, but the East, it's like Brooklyn, obviously, we know what's Boston.
Indiana.
Bro, Jason Tatum shot 10 of 24 yesterday, bro. I mean, 10 of 27.
Yeah, he still got Jack like 40 fantasy points and killed me.
Boston's struggling, dude. Like, They lost back-to-back games to the Wizards. They beat the Hornets, but that was an OT. And then they beat the Rockets, and Rockets are ass. They got smoked by the Raptors, and then they got beat by the Knicks, obviously, in the opening night game that was lit. They play the Bulls next, and we already know how the Bulls are playing right now. They just came off a good win against the Jazz, so but it's like, I don't know, dude. Jason Tatum's struggling to me. He might have good numbers, but his shooting percentages is pretty bad. I know that for sure.
Well, yeah. See, that's a problem. We've encountered that on this podcast. You got to look past the numbers sometimes. Yep. Yeah, Jason Tatum is not playing well. God, the Bears.
I mean, I'm looking at his stats right now. I mean, he shot 50% or better his first 3 games, and then he shot 40% the first game against the Wizards, and the second game against the Wizards he shot 31%. So I guess it's not bad, but the record isn't looking too good.
Well, yeah, but there is to me, there's an element of having great stats and just having great stats, and then there's having great stats and it leading to wins. Because I'm a big believer, whether or not this is true, but I'm a big believer that if you put up triple doubles like Westbrook does for years, that's it. They made that. But you're not winning, then to me, your triple doubles are not helping you win. It's kind of like definition of insanity. If you continue to do the same thing over and over, expecting different results,
right,
you're insane. So, great stats, have great statistical, seasons. If you're not winning, I really don't care. It's about wins.
Defense, he does a pretty good record recording triple double in terms of.
I'm not saying specifically him. I was just using the example.
Like it becomes not really a.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just using he's the major statistical guy I can think of right now. But if you're doing that kind of stuff and not winning, who cares? Ultimately, this is about wins. I was gonna say I could look at fantasy right now and pretty much tell how the league is doing, because I just look at my team and everybody is terrible right now, and I'm like, all these guys are on teams that should be decent.
Nope.
And so I look at that, I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, this is why the Bucks are struggling, because Middleton can't shoot better than 30%, or Michael Porter can't score more than 11 points. Come on. He's been awful.
He's been struggling. I watched 2 Nuggets games this year, and his shooting's been terrible. And he's it's good. Bad. He's taking good shots. It's just that he hasn't gone in.
I know. This is why I don't worry with fantasy, like Buddy, Jack, who made that audacious trade with Zach and got you and some other people to decline it. But this is why I don't worry, because it's not going to be this way for a month. So these matchups don't totally matter. They matter in my division, apparently, because my division is way better than yours. I don't know how, but
I had a pretty good division last year, so
everybody, yeah,
came out on top.
Yeah, you didn't win though. You didn't even get to the championship, bro. Okay. You had a Westbrook season, bro.
Harden, Beal, Levine, all out.
Don't get me started.
Those 3 guys, literally all 3 of those guys were injured, bro. Come on, I ain't got no chance if that happens. My 3 best players out. That's crazy.
Yeah, me, Cat. Oh, who'd I have? Cat, De'Aaron Fox, and I don't even remember, dude. Oh yeah, Thomas Bryant literally tore his ACL one game into the season.
Yeah.
I picked him up this year too.
I'm talking about the Wizards, because they're surprising to me. I think they're for real.
You do?
In terms of a team getting an 8th or 7th seed, because everybody's saying they're playing. I don't think they're playing, dude. They're a pretty good team. They have a solid squad.
I do think
who's most
probably going to be a plan.
Montrezl Harrell Loki might win 6th man of the year, but he started yesterday, so I don't know if he's going to be a starter or.
Well, didn't he start because not. Shoot, no, he didn't. He does. Is it because Rui? Is it because Rui is still out? Is Rui still out?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
did he start the other games?
I don't think so.
I'm gonna look at the lineups.
See, they're gonna have a lot of big men because when Thomas Bryant gets back and Rui gets back, Hachimura, they're gonna have a surplus of good, reasonably good big men.
He started the last 2 games, and the game before that against the Celtics, he didn't start. So I don't know.
I don't know them.
They had Kuzma and Gafford start instead of him. But
I want to say this too. Zach has now surpassed me on injuries in our league. Or now, it's kind of
tough.
It is tough. He's still scoring an insane amount of points. God, Justin just misses high. He always misses high. Granted, he was almost sacked there, but come on. We're watching the Bears game while we record, because we can multitask. It's really difficult.
Yeah, 2 screens at once is really, really hard. 3 screens, actually. I got 3 screens right now.
You got 3?
Well, TV, laptop, phone. So I'm looking at 3 different screens is what I meant.
You're gonna burn your eyes out.
But I'm just surprised because like Montrezl Harrell is playing really good, especially the last 4 games. Beal, like you said, is struggling, but they're still 5-1.
That's the most surprising part to me.
It's crazy.
Beal's an ass. But you're right. I cut you off, but you said Kuzma. Kuzma, I think, is going to have his best season of his career. I think he's already having his best season of his career. He's finally going to be allowed to play. They don't have Rui. They don't have Thomas Bryant. Didn't they? Who they sign? Daniel Gafford, right?
He got him from the Bulls last year.
Yeah.
He doesn't play a lot.
He doesn't, but he could be a solid big man if you need.
He's underrated, bro. I'm telling you, the Bulls should have kept him, especially this year. They should have kept him.
Yeah, the Wizards. I mean, I could see them as a legit. I don't know, bro. Who do I take out of the East?
The East is all about like if someone's really good and like underrated, it's like okay, they're good, bro. They're good enough to replace this team.
See, the problem is, I look at the first 6. Yeah, I look at the 6 teams in the East, bro. I don't know who of those teams is not making the playoffs. I guess so. I guess
from the current standings.
Yeah, outside of Washington, because I could take Washington out and put
Charlotte,
Milwaukee or Brooklyn.
Toronto. You think Toronto?
No, I said the first 6. I said the first 6, not in the play-in tournament. Okay. So like out of those first 6, I would only be looking to take out Washington and Charlotte. Other than that, I think those teams are going to make it, and then I would replace those with Milwaukee and Brooklyn. So I still think Washington.
What about Atlanta?
Yeah, and then I'd put Atlanta next. I think Atlanta is going to be better than Washington, but they've looked really bad so far. I mean,
what about
so
Boston?
that's
you said you'll place Brooklyn and who?
I would put Brooklyn and Milwaukee in the places of Washington and Charlotte if I'm looking at like a final prediction, because I think the Knicks are. I think the Knicks are good.
So you would have Boston make the play-in though, right?
Yes, I would have, and that's what I'm saying is I have Washington, Charlotte, probably Boston, and Cleveland in that play-in. But Indiana too, bro. The East is low-key good. There's a lot of competition in the East.
They're not. It's not like they're top-heavy good. It's like they're just well-balanced good.
Yes. This is why I'm so.
Like
I don't know.
Teams. Okay, would you say Detroit and Orlando are the 2 teams we know for sure are not making?
Yeah, they're not doing
what about
anything.
Cleveland? Remember, I told you we've been talking about Cleveland, bro.
I've been saying, bro. I said from before the season started, I said Cleveland is making the playoffs.
You did, bro. Cleveland is good, for real.
And you called it. Evan Mobley, that man looks like he might win Rookie of the Year. I might have to throw some money down on him because, I wish I had money and sports bet, but whatever. I wish. They look good, bro. And here's the best part about with them too, because Colin Sexton is low key but just playing bad right now. Same with Darius Garland, and those are their 2 main guards.
Yeah.
I mean Jared Allen's doing Jared Allen things, but he's not.
You said Jared Allen. I mean, they have a surplus of big men because they still have Kevin Love, doing some things off the bench.
Laurie.
Mobley playing good as a rookie. Laurie is playing okay. I mean, he's looking like the Laurie from the Bulls. So, but I feel like
I don't know what that means. That could mean a lot of things.
He's just putting up like okay stats, like in terms of numbers. I watched the game.
That's all he has to do too.
Yeah, he's still taking like 8 threes too. So he's not really playing as a.
But my issue with the problem was when he was on the Bulls, he was expected to be a key contributor. On the Cavs, he's not. He's just there to be like a surplus, like that. Colin Sexton and Darius Garland and maybe even Mobley now are going to be those guys.
Yeah.
We talked about him, Isaac Okoro. I think I'd like to see more from him. He kind of sprouted at the end of last year, I think.
Comes out the bench, doesn't he?
Yeah, but he is such a or does he? I think he does this year. He didn't last year, at least for the back half, but that might have just been because they were trash. I don't know.
He didn't even play yesterday. Might be injured.
He's hurt. He's hurt right now. But he starts. Yeah, he does start as small forward. That's what I thought. I don't know. I think he's such a great, well-rounded player. I'd like to see more from him. I'd like to see him take a leap this year. I think he could really help because he's a really good defensive piece.
Oh, okay.
A really good defensive piece.
I know his name. I haven't really seen him because I just pay attention to Sexton and Garland.
I mean, I got Garland on my team, bro. If this man can get less than, dude, I counted. I looked at how many turnovers I have compared to everyone else. It's insane. I missed out on 84 points last night from turnovers. 84. The night before it was like 70.
Damn.
Bro, Darius Garland, Bradley Beal, Karl Anthony Towns, folks just be turning the ball. Darius Garland has like 7 turnovers a game. It's ridiculous. And he has like a 2-to-1 assist to a turnover ratio somehow, which blows my mind.
2-to-1?
Yeah, I mean for his career, so like maybe not this year because he's really turning the ball over. But I digress. Let's talk about the obvious one, and that's in the Bucks, and the Lakers.
You want to start off with the Nets?
Yeah, I mean we know what's going on there. We saw it the last 2 games.
Yep. Obviously we're talking about the Beard himself. KD has been playing like the way we think KD was gonna play this year. He's low-key been a sleeper MVP pick for me, but the Nets record doesn't speak for his
chances,
his case. But James Harden is just everybody's saying it's the rule changes. He's saying it's his hamstring injury that he's still worried about. Steve Nash has spoken about him not getting calls. Time was recording. They played on Friday, and James Harden ended up getting 19 free throws compared to the 15 in total to all combined his first 5 games. So, all of a sudden he goes from 5 free throws a game to 19. It's just a big switch up. I didn't watch the game. I didn't watch the highlights. Obviously, they're not going to show every foul that he got. I didn't watch the game myself, so I couldn't tell if it was actual, foul calls. But just jumping from 5 to 19 all of a sudden, especially after the whole complaining, I wonder if the refs or the league themselves kind of,
caved.
Yeah, caved in. Remember how like LeBron was complaining about not getting foul calls last year, and then all of a sudden next game, he started getting like 12.
Yeah, I remember that.
Like the Lakers team sent a letter to like the league.
They were and then the next game they outshot him at the free throw line by like 30. It was insane.
So I wonder if the Nets just did that in the shadows nobody knows about. But Harden, like for me, it's just if you watch like the fouls he's trying to draw on Nick Wright. I don't know if you watch First Things First, but they were showing a bunch of
highlights. I saw that video.
Him hooking Jimmy Butler, hooking Bam, and just throwing his arms up. It's like, bro, you're not gonna get those foul calls. And Chris Broussard was talking about how like it's probably muscle memory because he's been doing this for like 8 years. So, he's used to just like putting his arm against other people, trying to like draw the foul on them, but it looks like he's fouling them. But this year it's not working, obviously, with the rule changes. So it's just, I don't know. What do you think about it?
I mean, first of all, to address the rule changes, it's a good rule change. So I don't care.
I love it.
I don't care if he complains. I don't care who. I mean, it's not just him. I've seen it. Steph Curry is notorious for doing the exact same thing. I've seen a few where Bradley Beal. I'm sorry. Excuse me?
Ice Trae.
Ice Trae. Oh yeah, Ice Trae. Yeah. Trae Young for sure. I mean, look at how Trae Young has played. I mean, I have to think it's affecting him too. Now, I do think, first of all, okay, so that's that. Rule change is great for the league. It's just great, all right? Because manipulating the game, I've said it. Let's go.
You seen that throw, right?
Let's go, Justin.
Rolling out.
Oh my
God! Might actually caught a pass.
I know, right?
Never mind. It was somebody else tweaking.
But yeah, so the rule changes are good, and everybody is gonna have to adjust. It will take time, but like if I'm just hooking my arm in you, I'm not outplaying you. To me,
right.
I'm not outplaying you. I'm manipulating the rules. This is why I am now turning trade voting off in our fantasy league, because Jack always manipulates the rules. This is why we have to, every rule change, folks, that we've had in our fantasy league is because of our guy, Jack, our graphic designer. Did he catch that? Yeah, I think he did. And so like that to me is just, that's not skill to me. That's just manipulation. As for Harden himself, I do tend to agree that a lot of this is his hamstring. We have our friend Joe, right? Joe's had a hamstring issue for like 4 years or whatever. And it just lingers on forever and ever. You have to really take care of it. I was reading about it or something. It's like one of the most notorious to come back. Like it's so hard to get rid of. So I do believe him when he says that, but I do also think it's also kind of the rules, because when Nick Wright showed that video, I'm like, well, you can say it's your hamstring, but looking at this, it's hard to argue, bro.
Yeah,
like you can't tell me that it's your hamstring and yet you're doing this crap. This is not gonna work. So he's the major reason the Nets have whatever record they have. What, 3-3 right now? 4-3?
3-3.
3-3. Yeah. Okay. So they're gonna be okay. Everybody I know freaked out immediately. But they're gonna be okay, because I think Harden's too good to not figure out what's going on. And they can win enough games, I think, if Durant just goes on. I think Durant his problem might be right now that he might not be trying to take on the alpha role, like where he's like, oh, I got to do this all myself. If I'm Durant, I would go into every game and assume that. I'm assuming that I need to be that dude for this game, for the next game, for the game after and whatnot, until I see Harden has it going and his hammy is like better, because they can only go you can only go through the motions for so long before it seriously affects you. Nets need a high seed. We saw it last year. It affected them. You want to get the first seed. You really do, especially if there's any semblance of Kyrie coming back or a trade happening, because that significantly boosts your odds, obviously. So, I mean, we'll see with them. But the Bucks.
Harden, he's been like an Iron Man, because he hasn't really got like a major injury. He's one of
until last year, right?
Last year, so maybe it's just since it's the first time happening to him, it takes him it's taking time for him to actually adjust into it. But
it could be in his head.
It could be. He did say it is something due to his
psychologically.
Head. Yeah, psychology. Yeah, but like you said, he's a top 10, top 5 player in the league, maybe. So he'll figure it out eventually.
And like Chris Broussard said, I'm sure you saw, he's like, if he can't figure it out, then he's not the player we all thought he was. Was. Yeah. Because if you're one of the best, you figure out how to adjust to a rule change. It's just how it is. So if he doesn't, then he's not that guy. He's not that guy, Kyle.
I was looking into what you just said now. I was looking at his highlights, so I was watching I've watched a couple of Nets games. So Harden's been doing this since basically for 4 or 5 years. He doesn't shoot the mid range anymore. I saw a compilation video on Twitter of someone showing his first 2 years in Houston. His mid range, he used to shoot the mid range a lot, and he doesn't anymore, obviously, because he does the step back 3, or he just drives in and tries to draw a foul or just throw alley-oop. So I want to see if he can incorporate that back into his game.
To be fair, he did play for the most analytical owner in sports, and Daryl Morey is all about don't shoot the mid-range. We don't want to do that.
Right.
To be fair, maybe that kind of left his game, which sucks because now he's playing with Kevin Durant, who I'm going to make the argument is the best mid-range shooter potentially in the league. I'm going to give him.
Yeah, for sure. He's one.
If not the best, he's one of the top. So like, just imagine if him and Harden were pulling up mid-ranges. I mean, what are you going to do? Because then Harden can also shoot the three. Durant could just. It doesn't really matter who's guarding him. I've watched him my whole life. All right, I've watched KD my whole life. I'm a huge fan of his. Everybody knows that. And I swear, to this day, I'm still absolutely, as Chris Broussard says, gobsmacked by the shots he hits and how contested they are. And every time he shoots, I'm just like, this is an awful shot. Way to waste your possession and cash money. I'm just like, why would you? I just don't know how he makes it. I don't. I've never seen somebody make shots as contested as him. It's ridiculous.
So lanky, dude. He's a 7-footer that could basically shoot like Dirk, but just more agile than him. It's crazy. So crazy.
They'll be up there. Bucks though.
Bucks. I'm not worried about them.
I'm not either. Not at all.
They have the same record as the Nets, but I'm more confident in them. Well, let me say this: they have the same record, but the Nets seem like to have, a worse record in terms of the problems they have right now. Bucks, I feel like they're just losing games. Like, is Jrue Holiday still out? Do you know?
Yeah.
Okay, so they don't have Jrue Holiday. They still don't have Dante DiVincenzo. So, I think they're still good enough to beat the Spurs, but they lost to them last night because Dejounte Murray's a top 5 guard in the league. I just said that, and it's true. He should be up for most.
Top 5 guard?
Yeah, he's a top 5 guard.
Okay.
I'm dead ass.
Nah, that's extreme. Who are you taking? Bradley Beal, Steph Curry, Zach LaVine. Taking Zach LaVine?
I'm taking Dejounte over Bradley Beal. You talking about point guards or guards?
I'm just talking. Guards. I was just saying guards.
Okay, yeah, I'm taking him over Bradley Beal.
So he's a top 5. He's clearly a top 5 point guard then, because he can't be a top.
Sure. He's a top 5 point guard.
I don't know about that. He's coming. I don't know if I put
5
him there.
point guards better than right now.
Steph Curry, Trae Young,
obviously Trae Young,
Russell Westbrook. Yeah, Trae Young's. Yeah. I don't care how Westbrook's played this year. Are you talking about just how they played this year? Because if you're doing this year, then yeah. But I'm taking Westbrook as a player over him.
By the end of the season, he's going to be considered a top 5 point guard in the league.
No. I like DeJounte.
Look at the season he's having. And he's a good defender. He's one of the best perimeter defenders, too.
I mean, I'm not disagreeing. He's coming. I just don't know if he's going to be top 5 point guard. He could be. It could happen. But I think.
I mean, he's.
Well, let me think here.
If he carries the Spurs to a playing spot, he's a top 5 point guard this year.
Yeah, that probably is true.
You will enter that conversation.
So who are the point guards? You got Westbrook, right? Steph and Trae. Those are probably the 3.
Westbrook,
Trae. Well,
Trae.
And I'm just thinking, like,
okay,
yeah, people will say Chris Paul.
Do you consider James Harden a point guard?
He plays point guard, so.
Do you consider him one? Do you consider?
I consider him a point guard at this point. Yeah.
Okay, so James Harden.
So
you still consider Kyrie a point guard if he comes back?
No.
Okay.
No. Kemba, I guess you wouldn't even probably put Kemba on that list. LaMelo, Lonzo. I mean, is he better than LaMelo, do you think? I would say yes.
Yeah, he is.
He's better. That means he's better than Lonzo, because a lot of people will say LaMelo is better than Lonzo.
He's better than De'Aaron Fox?
Dude, I like De'Aaron. I really like De'Aaron Fox.
This year, I'm not gonna lie. I haven't.
Yeah, he has. He's like, dude, this is why the first month doesn't matter, man. I mean, it matters, but it's not like, it's just so many things are out of place.
What about
there's no way. I don't know, dude. I like the way. I mean, this year, I think I take Ja so far.
Okay, but it's still early though. Dejounte's playing out of his mind too.
I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm just saying right now, I wouldn't take him as a top 5.
SGA? Do you think he's better than SGA?
I I'd give him that. I'd probably give him better in SGA. Yeah.
That's surprising.
I love SGA, but yeah, the reason I think about that is injuries. Injuries, I think, are.
Well, obviously, like we can say that for a lot of player matchups. Just if they're
Zion.
100% healthy, the way they're playing, like who would you take?
Wow, they got lucky on this one. Thank God Jimmy can't throw a ball.
What about Fred VanVleet? Do you think he's better than Fred? You think so?
I do. Dejounte Murray?
Underrated. Yeah.
VanVleet is underrated, but Dejounte Murray is that dude. Like, he's coming. Like, this is a guy that you know is going to be a star. Like, if he's not already.
I know who is he better than for sure? Ben Simmons.
Everybody's better than Ben Simmons, bro. Ben Simmons ain't playing. What's the best kind of ability? Availability.
Facts.
He ain't playing, bro.
Facts. Okay, so Bucks we're not worried about. We agree.
Well, their big issue right now is buddy on my fantasy team, Middleton. Dude can't shoot. But when they get DiVincenzo back, Andrew.
Sky's blue, bro.
Huh?
You said Middleton can't shoot, and I said the sky's blue. Just two things that are
even though he shot like 40, I was looking at it today, he shot like 40% from three every year or something of the past three. It's like,
yeah, but we're talking about like big games. Obviously, he kind of.
He changed that narrative last year. He might have.
Yeah. I was gonna say last year he proved himself.
But yeah, I'm just saying, like, once they get DiVincenzo back, Andrew Holiday. I mean, you said this, but I'm reiterating it. That team defensively is gonna be elite. They're gonna be serious. Yeah, they're a team to reckon with. But
speaking of good defensive teams, hold on, you gonna say something else?
No, go on.
Dude, the Miami Heat, they're looking really good, bro. Like they're looking like a top 3 seed. Good. Like I might replace them in terms of standings, like them over the Bucks or the Sixers. Like they look.
I don't believe in the Sixers, dude. I don't believe in them. I say that every year.
Season wise, I think they can get a top 2-3 seed. Regular season wise, if they get Ben Simmons back eventually.
Okay, if they get Ben, yes. If they get him back, for sure.
Okay, so with Ben Simmons back, do you think they could? Do you think he would have a better record?
I don't know. I will say yes, because I don't plan on Ben Simmons coming back for a little bit, and that could affect Philly.
Okay.
So then, yeah, the Heat will have.
So it's okay. But back to Miami. I watched the game against the Hornets on Friday, dude. When I'm talking about like chemistry wise, just they look like Warriors-esque. Like just passing, their chemistry on the court just looks like they've been playing for 10 years. And they added Kyle Lowry. So that's a big adjustment for like Jimmy Butler, Bam, obviously. So
that's what I'm saying.
How good they're playing right now. I don't know if you watched them so far this year.
I've watched like one game. I only get the games I get, right? I'm seriously thinking about buying a league pass. Especially now that I got a job.
Use that website I told you to use. I've been using.
Yeah, but sometimes it lags and it won't let me load it. Like a lot of times.
Okay.
So I mean, I just got a job, so now I can afford league pass, hopefully. But money here, But you're right. Like the fact that they were able to add as big a name or as big a player as Kyle Lowry, in terms of like how he's not a ball dominant player, I'd say, but he can be, and add that ego in with Jimmy Butler, Bam. That's impressive that they've just been able to do that. I said it before. Tyler Hero, I think, is going to have a breakout year. I think he's been playing really out of his mind this year so far.
Down a lot of haters.
Just wait for what's his face, Duncan Robinson, right? Just wait till he starts, rolling and stuff. This team will be a team to be reckoned with. I predict.
They're still missing Victor.
Yeah, they don't even have Victor. Oh my God. Yeah, so like I said last year, I thought they had a chance against the Nets in their first round. I forgot they played the Bucks, right?
The Bucks. They got
they got obliterated, but I thought they'd have a chance. But now I definitely think they have a chance to like make some noise.
Right.
I would be okay with them winning the finals. Like I would be okay with that. I of course want the Bulls first, no question. Speaking of the Bulls, Justin, what the? It's just a bad throw. It's such a bad throw, man. But the Bulls.
All right. Before any overreactions, right now the Bulls are 5-1, and they played their first real team according to a lot of people. Second
not Jack. I mean,
but most NBA fans, they play their second real team. They're 1-1 against real teams. Right now, they lost a close game to the Knicks, but they played the Jazz last night. The time of this recording. The Bulls, I mean, the Jazz game, they really controlled the game in the first half. The Jazz did. It was pretty back and forth, but second half, the Bulls, worked up a 17-point lead, third or fourth quarter, and then the Jazz went on a 13-2 run, came back a little, but Vooch hit a couple big shots, and they ended up, winning comfortably. So Bulls were pretty good. Defensive wise, that's the big thing for me. Their energy on defense is just unreal. I think Stacey King said it yesterday. They're top 5 in like a bunch of major categories in terms of defensive stats. So, like, if you watch the games, dude, I don't know if people watching, if they watch a lot of Bulls games, but if you watch them on defense, it's just they're always putting their hands out in passing lanes. They're, the steals, they're blocking. They're so undersized, but they get so many blocks a game. It's unreal, dude. Especially yesterday, Patrick Williams went out, and Tony Bradley and Derek Jones Jr. got a lot of minutes increased for them. And they came in, got like 3 blocks combined between the both of them. Caruso obviously was, his defensive, masterclass. He just drops it every game. But it's their defense. That's this thing for me. I don't know what you think about that.
I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna disagree. I think losing Patrick Williams hurts a lot.
Yeah.
Why can't I'm trying to look at how many blocks they have per game and where it ranks in the league. They have 6, so they're probably middle of the pack. Maybe a little on the bottom end. I mean, they're somewhere in the middle. But their defense is looking great because they have guys that you wouldn't expect. Like you talked about it last week, I think, like Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan. These aren't really defensive-minded players that are stepping up. It kind of reminds me of Thibodeau back, I said it before, like back with that team where they just got everybody to play defense. And the Bulls that was back when they were getting people to barely score like 90 points, maybe, or 80. And that, back that time existed. So as for their offense, then against the Knicks, I thought it looked really bad. But the fact that they came back from 12 down in like 2 minutes was miraculous. I was at Jack's house. He and his dad were, oh, it's over. I'm not going to blah, 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 blah. I'm like, don't count them out. Don't. You never know. But the offense is going to take time. It's just, it will. It's just going to take time. It's not going to happen right away. The Lakers are running into the same issue. People are going to freak out about the Lakers. Especially with the way Westbrook's been playing.
Yeah.
These things, what do the Bulls have? Like a couple players that are returning? It's very little. They don't have that many players returning this year, right?
Yeah. In terms of starting lineup, they had just 2 guys, and then off the bench, really they just had one. Was it? Yeah, because
they have
Kobe White's injured.
Kobe White
really off the bench. I mean, Troy Brown Jr., he got traded mid-season last year, so I guess him and Kobe are really the 2 bench guys that are returning. So everybody else is pretty good.
So it's a brand new roster. This doesn't happen this fast. Now they're 5-1. That's great. But they have a really tough schedule coming up, and
really tough.
It's really funny because the Lakers have the exact opposite, and they're still struggling. But I'm not saying the Bulls are better than the Lakers.
It's good to take these type of games early in the season, especially the new team. It'd be a good test. They play the Jazz like we said yesterday. They got the win. They play the Celtics tomorrow. They've been struggling, so they could always, win those games. Then they played 2 games back to back against Philly. Then they played Nets. Then they played Dallas, then Warriors, then Clippers, then Lakers, then Portland, then the Nuggets, and then they played the Knicks again. So they have a pretty big schedule in November. What do you? I talked about this in that little TikTok recap I did yesterday.
I didn't get a chance to watch that yet, but
what do you make of Lonzo's like playmaking? Because yesterday he only had like 2 or 3 assists. I know he had a big triple-double against the Pelicans, but other than that, he hasn't really gotten like in terms of assists and just playmaking in general. I feel like him playing with DeRozan and Levine in the same on the same court, it's kind of affecting his potential in that category.
It's affecting his playmaking for sure. And that's been one of my big issues with them so far is that their offense kind of looks stagnant at some times, and they don't really seem to be moving the ball. Personally, I would love to just hand Lonzo the ball. Let him run my team, please. Like, I trust him. I don't think they do that really.
And yeah, DeRozan's been playing.
I was gonna say DeRozan's kind of been that guy.
Yeah.
And I mean, I get it. DeRozan's like a mid-range guy. Every time he shoots the mid-range, I think it's going in. Like, I genuinely just expect the ball to go in, except on the last shot against the Knicks. But which was a terrible play. So whatever. But what I do like is that it seems like, let me make sure I can back this up with stats, but it seems like the Bulls have been getting assists for it. Just seems like they're having more team play.
Yeah,
it's not.
I don't know how many assists they average a game, but they did have like 25, like 30 against. I think it was either Knicks or the Jazz.
Okay, they're actually really bad with assists. They're really low. Really? They're probably the bottom third of the league. They're 23.2. I can't range it, but I'm looking at the numbers. That's probably somewhere at the bottom.
That's like in the mid.
No.
Mid rankings, I'd say.
No. Maybe last year. This year, right now, it's still early though. So, but right now it's super low. They're this is amazing. I'm looking at their team stats right now, and I'd look at these. If you just showed me this and didn't tell me their record, I would be like, they haven't won a game. I mean, 41 rebounds per game. That might be. I think that's dead last. That's dead last in the league. Yeah.
Oh my God.
They're the worst rebounding team in the league. Yeah, they're really undersized. We've talked about that. They need some size, especially now that they lost Patrick Williams. Jack mentioned it, and it was one of the first things I've heard him say that I don't think is completely asinine. I'm looking at Marvin Bagley. If I can get a easy package for him, like a nice package, because his trade value is really low, I might do that. I might look at it just because you need some size. They really do.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I just don't want them to give up too much because he's a good player.
Yeah.
The Kings could always just say, okay, well, he's a former top 5 lottery pick. So
yeah, but then I'm hoping what the Bulls can use as leverage is I
just don't want them to give up too much. Well, they're the ones that shut him down. So
yeah, you just lagged a lot for me. I think you said something. Yeah, what'd you say?
I just said the Kings, they're the ones that shut him down.
Oh, yeah.
Rotation, so
yeah.
So but be like, okay, well.
But he wants a trade, right? They've mutually agreed to part ways, right? Yeah. So that means his leverage or the trade value is diminished a little bit. The other thing that diminishes his trade value to me is he's incredibly injury prone already. Like, so if I'm the Bulls, I'm saying I'll take him, but it's coming at a cost for you because I'm getting a player that's injury prone and he wants out of your organization. You want him gone too. So I'm not giving you, everything. I don't care. So Jack said that. I thought it was a decent trade. I know Jack only said it because Marvin Bagley's on his fantasy team. He picked him up and he wants to get fantasy points. I mean, shocking that fantasy is behind everything Jack says in sports, but they got to make a move because the size is going to be a problem, man. I mean, I would be shocked if they could compete with like the Bucks in a playoff series with this size. I would just be absolutely shocked.
No.
I want to see that too. Let me see what the
Lopez and Giannis and Middleton gonna grab like 15 offensive boards between themselves if they play the Bulls.
It's interesting. The Bucks are not a good rebounding team either.
For real?
Yeah, they're 45.
Who's the best rebounding teams in the East right now?
Who's the best? Well, it's the East and the NBA actually. It's the Miami Heat, number 1 in the league, and it's really not even close. They're obliterating everybody else.
Maybe they just have better hustlers. I don't know, because they don't really have big size either.
Yeah, I mean it's separated by 3 rebounds a game, which in the grand scheme of things is a lot. That is a pretty significant amount. Let's see if the Bulls are. God, they're not. They're right in the middle of the pack in scoring, dead last rebounding, not bottom tier in assists per game. Middle of the pack in shooting. They have a pretty good they have a really good 3-point shooting team. Really good. It's like probably upper quarter. They have the best free throw shooting team in the NBA right now.
That's good.
Tied for first, I think. Nope, they are first.
Yesterday. Crazy.
Yeah. Offensive rebounds, dead last. Shocking. Defensive rebounds, obviously. Turnovers a game. This might be it. This might be how they do it. Is they're the best team in terms of turnovers. They have the least amount of turnovers in the NBA, and they're great at shooting the 3, and they're one of the best in terms of steals. Now, remember when we talked about team stats that directly lead to wins? I said rebounding. I still think rebounding is, but I think data might have shown that 3-point percentage is a good one too.
Yep. So, I mean, the Jazz have been the best 3-point shooting team in the past 2 years. They've
been number 1. Yeah, so. It's possible. I mean, I don't know. The Bulls are definitely not winning 25 less games, like Jack said, and becoming the worst team in the history. I actually think they've already. Oh no, they just need one more win to eclipse that. I'll be shocked if they go 0-72 for the rest of the year.
All right.
But I don't expect them really. I would expect them to be a first or a second round exit. I'm not expecting anything out of the blue. Like, it would be amazing.
I think just for the first year with this team, I think just getting in playoffs, maybe if they win a playoff series, that'd be really good. Especially if they're like a 4th or 5th seed. I expect them to, be like a Knicks or the Celtics. Second round, obviously they're gonna have to go up against, for sure they have to go up against the Sixers, the Heat, or the Bucks, or the Nets. But I think just for a first year, especially Zach LaVine's contract year, I think just getting to the playoffs and maybe winning a playoff series is good enough for me. And then next offseason, they could try to revamp the roster again and, take it to the next level in terms of competing for a championship. But do you want to move on to talking about the big LA Showtime Lakers, since they've been really the talk of the NBA?
They've been, any team with LeBron is already.
So, how many Lakers games have you watched this year?
0. No, 1.
I've watched about 2 or 3. Do you have a good assessment on them right now?
Do I have a good assessment? I can go by highlights, stats, what I see.
All right, go ahead, bro.
I mean, I'm going to just say Skip and Shannon talked about it yesterday, and I tended to agree with. Wow, I'm really shocked by how the Bears are playing right now. It's usually a tale of 2 halves, so we'll see. But I tend to agree with what Skip said instead of Shannon, and it was that the best thing for their team is for Westbrook to come off the bench. In my mind, I agree. That would be the best thing. Will it happen? No way. Not going to happen. Obviously, it won't happen. But in terms of like the best, because as Skip said, it allows LeBron and AD who can work together. Clearly, they can work together. Like we've seen it. They've won a championship. And then it lets Westbrook come in off the bench, not have to play with LeBron or AD usually, or maybe just one of them, and still be as sporadic and crazy as he always is. And you do that, and that will work. So to me, if I really want the best thing, that's what it is. But he's, as they said, I think he's like the third highest paid player in the NBA. His ego. There's no way it'll happen.
Yeah, those three guys literally have like one of the biggest contracts.
Yeah, between the three of them. Yeah. So it won't happen. I think it would benefit them potentially. But the other thing is, in all reality, it's going to take them a while. It's going to take till probably like around Christmas for them to get this right. I have no worries about.
I don't know. I think it's going to take longer than that.
Okay, maybe I don't know. I'm just guessing to get some sort of semblance of confidence of playing together and be like, hey, yeah, we're an elite team. We're gonna go like to look like what we expect them to start to look like. It could take the whole year. I think personally, their biggest issue, honestly, is gonna be like chemistry and personalities, not necessarily on the court, which I guess will affect the chemistry on the court, but I think that's what'll be a bigger issue.
Okay. You done?
Yeah, I want to hear it. You've watched more games than me, so
okay.
I only caught the Westbrook historical quadruple double game. So
yeah. So for me, Westbrook turning the ball over and shooting really badly is not surprising. So I knew, that's something that I knew was gonna happen before even the first game against the Warriors. But one thing I do have a problem with is Frank Vogel. I think his rotations and his picking of the starting lineup has been an issue with Lakers fans. I see them complaining on the internet about it a lot. His rotations he plays a lot of people that you shouldn't be playing together on this court. Like he starts DeAndre Jordan with Anthony Davis and Russell Westbrook, who really don't fit together in terms of the offensive end. He plays Rondo and Westbrook a lot, which again, two shooting ball dominant point guards. I mean, two non-shooting dominant point guards on the same court doesn't really make sense. So obviously they didn't have LeBron against the Thunder when they blew that big lead. They didn't have him against who they played before.
Memphis? No, they had a Memphis.
Who did they play? Okay, forget it. But rotations, I think rotations is an issue. That's obviously on Frank Vogel. The pick and roll defense is really bad. Like, Will, if you watch some highlights,
their defense is atrocious.
Their defense in general is bad, but their pick and roll, oh my god! And it's like AD's playing really good on defensive end. Like he's a top 3 defensive player.
San Antonio.
Okay, yeah, San Antonio. Yeah. What's his name? Who's that San Antonio center?
Jakob Podol. I don't have him.
If you watch that game, dude, him and Dejounte Murray on the pick and roll against the Lakers were just killing them, especially late in the game. They could not defend both of them. So they're pick and roll. Like you said, their chemistry, just playing them together, that's going to be the key thing. Who he plays on the same time, who maybe goes on the bench, who's a strong lineup. It's all about the personnel. Me personally, I think I'd rather have Westbrook handle the ball in terms of, instead of LeBron. And I would think about putting AD at center.
I'm going to need some explanation because I'm pretty sure that's literally the opposite of what everybody in the world is saying.
What, the AD at center?
No. Westbrook being the ball handler.
Well, I think him and AD, if you play AD at center, then him and Westbrook playing a pick and roll, I think is a pretty good duo. LeBron, I know LeBron's not a good shooter, but he's been hitting his mid range. He's been hitting his 3. I just feel like I'd rather have, if you're gonna play all 3 of them on the court, I'd rather have Westbrook being the ball handler, driving to the basket, kicking out to other people instead of LeBron, because I trust LeBron to hit a shot, outside jumper more than Westbrook. In simple terms.
But now you're relying on Westbrook making a good choice and a good pass.
Well, every decision they're gonna make is gonna have some type of you know, it's like, you know, it's a win-lose situation no matter what.
Yeah, well, so aren't they missing some key players right now? Like
I wouldn't say
not key players, but good bench players. They're missing Kendrick Nunn, right?
Kendrick Nunn.
They got Malik Monk back, right? Yeah. They don't have Horton Tucker, Wayne Ellington. I mean, they're gonna help. Those guys are gonna help a little. But to speak to the point you made, it'll be very interesting to see how they fit into a rotation when they're healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, this team is loaded. Yeah, this team is loaded. You have unbelievable, like loads and loads of talent. So it'll be really strange to see how do you fit everybody in? How do you make everybody happy? I mean,
no. They got a lot of veterans. They got to understand, like, you know, some of them are not going to have to switch up the way they play. They're not going to have as much.
Yeah, but I really do think some of these guys' egos are just going to clash. I just gut feeling. Like, obviously, like Dwight and AD, I know they said they're okay, but I could see that kind of stuff happening. Westbrook and Rondo, I could even see Dwight and Westbrook having some sort of issue. Maybe Dwight and Rondo. I know they played together. I'm not too sure any of the role players on the bench are going to have anything to say about it. I kind of, you know what I could see this happening as? A meme. LeBron just sitting in a chair, kicking back, putting his feet up, while the rest of the team just like argues and is in a fist fight, and he just watches. No, I know it's not gonna be that bad. My gut is telling me.
So, you know, season's not a big deal to me.
He records it, puts it on his Instagram. Look what I'm carrying this year.
You know, I'm about to become the all-time leading scorer. My legacy is set. You know, it's not gonna affect me as much as you guys. So just do you. Keep arguing.
All-time leading scorer, you know, 10,000 assists, 10,000 rebounds, 30,000 points. Player ever.
I'm straight.
I'm good. I don't even need the championship this year, bro. You know?
Look, I hear you on what you just said, but I know Shannon said this multiple times. He understands, like, the chemistry and just them feeling as a team is going to be an issue. But like he said, they have LeBron, and he trusts LeBron, you know, out of all people to, like, fix the situation like this, you know?
Who does? Who trusts him? Oh, well, Shannon would probably trust LeBron with his life or something.
Yeah, but like, wouldn't you say, like, out of all players, like leaders in terms of like big stars, LeBron's like the only guy you would trust to make a team come together, figure something out.
Yeah,
you saw that big catch, right?
Yep. They're gonna tie the game. That's Debo, right? Yeah, it is Debo. That's fine with me. I got Debo on my team. You know, I need those yards, but as long as it comes.
Imagine saying that. You sound like Jet.
Hey, bro, I don't want them to win the game. I just want Debo to rack up 300 yards.
I mean, if they score, they have a pretty good chance of winning the game. This is a key touchdown, so.
Dude, they're not going to score here. Don't worry.
All right, if you say so. But like, do you?
No, you're right. You're right.
You trust LeBron, right?
Yeah. If there's anybody that can kind of make this work, it's LeBron.
Right.
And I kind of tend to agree with LeBron or Skip and Shannon. They say he's like sitting out on purpose to kind of look and watch. I do think LeBron is that kind of guy.
About that whole right ankle soreness thing.
I do think he is that kind of guy, honestly. Most of the times I'd be like, yeah, that's a load of crap. But LeBron is a very strategic, thoughtful person. So I could see that actually being what he's doing. So, we'll see. They're gonna be the first seed in the East, or not the East, the West to me, or a top two for sure. And I really don't see how anybody in the West has any chance with competing with them. Once they figure it out, because this team is just, it's so unbelievably low. I honestly can't think of a team that's more stacked than this in my life. It's just so unfairly loaded, but they're gonna take time, and we'll deal with the social media nonsense. Good pass. Oh, you could have gotten me 6 points there, but whatever. So, not worried about any of the big juggernauts in the league right now. I really am not.
Really? None of them?
None. I mean, I'm looking at the Bucks, the Nets, and the Lakers as those. That's really all I'm considering juggernauts. I don't worry about them, any of those three. If I had to pick who I'm most worried about, is the Nets.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
But we'll see. Okay, I told you they won score. My gosh, doubting me. 13-9 at the half. I cannot believe they're winning. They scored 10 points, bro. I should have made that bet.
They scored over 30. Yeah, they scored over 10. That's crazy, right?
Gosh darn it. Justin Fields, 11 of 13. That's easily his best. And 118 QB. Oh my gosh.
His first half today is better than his past 3 games in totality.
He actually has like some kind of time. It's not much, but he has some.
He actually, set him up for good runs too. I don't know how many
decent play calling.
Yeah.
Notice how Matt Nagy's not here, and suddenly
Matt Nagy not being just in the premises of Soldier Field is just giving them like there's no bad vibes, no bad energy.
A new hope.
New mojo,
Let's hope this happens with the Bulls, man. Oh my gosh. I need the Bulls.
Kobe White's coming back in a couple of weeks.
Hey, yo, did I tell you I talked to Seth yesterday. He said he's like he has VIP seats now. He doesn't even need to get tickets. He could just tell them we're coming. He's like, yo, you gotta come sometime. I was like,
so he gets one of those like those seats with like the rooms.
I don't know. He just said VIP. I didn't really ask more about it. I was in a rush, but he said, yeah, anytime you want to go, just let me know. And I was like, oh my gosh, I actually have to like
He said anytime we gotta go, like in terms of like the Say Less team, right?
I don't know if Zach would want to go, but
I meant like the Say Less team. That's why I was talking about us. Just
Oh yeah.
Right
yeah, I mean, I only see 2 people here, so
yeah. So,
but yeah, so that definitely, I want to see them. I need to finally, like he's said for years, I could do that, and I never actually come through on that. So
okay.
Bulls look good this year. I really wish Derek Rose. I wish Thibodeau played him more that night. I was so upset with that.
Yeah.
I was like, this is a dang home game for you guys.
Kemba was playing pretty good, so I understand why.
I understand that, but like, I'm not trying to win the game. I'm just trying to give Chicago what they want. All right,
bro. It's Thibodeau, bro. Like he doesn't care.
Bro, you played this man way too long. You played him in every moment he should have been playing for years. Why are you not playing him in the moments he shouldn't be playing now?
They play them in 3 weeks anyway. Again, so
I know, but 20 points. He didn't get there because he didn't play.
All right, bro. Is there anything else you want to talk about?
Nah, dude. We need to get off so I can watch football because I was unable to press my record button, so I missed games. Crazy.
Aren't you watching the Bears game right now, though?
Kidding. Did you make any subtle references to people this episode?
Why would I need to do that?
I don't know if you did.
I'm not that kind of guy, bro.
You're not that kind of guy. You do know we were recording, right?
I'm a guy with good ethics. I'm a righteous man. I lead with example.
Yeah.
So, like, you bringing up something like that is just something I don't really think about ever. So
it's kind of affecting.
You ask anybody that knows me, they'll say I have the utmost respect for Muhammad. Like, just straight up.
Just a great guy.
I mess with that guy. He's a good guy. He's somebody that I would want my kids to like look up to, admire.
Gotcha.
Dude, that's a funny thing. I'm a regular dude that does regular things. So it's like,
you just live a normal life, and people
charisma that not a lot of people have. So
you are basically what Jack claimed Usaid is forever. And then randomly just
I don't know who that is, but sure.
Yeah. Sure. I wish you checked the Snapchat, bro. You'd have a good laugh. Laugh. And that basketball Snapchat, Jack constantly trying to,
impress other people.
Yeah. Always. As soon as you introduce a new friend group, boom. Oh, I got it. Want to go to Australia? Want to go to Vegas? Want to go blah, 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 blah. I got to come visit you. Trying to hit the bars. All right. Well, it was a good episode. Next week hopefully we have a full crew, but I mean, we carry it. It doesn't
do all the thing today. So,
I mean, you probably noticed, if anything, there was just an improvement today. So,
improvement of just actual basketball knowledge, right?
Analysis, not blasphemy.
Not just saying the same thing over and over and agreeing with other people that contradict your point.
Yeah.
Because you don't really know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Totality. So.
Yeah. What he said. Yeah, I agree.
Was that solo enough for you? Or was that?
Yeah. So we'll see you next week. Go Bears. Justin Fields looks good right now. If you're not watching, I'm sorry for you. I hope your team is winning or potentially losing if it's the 49ers. Nothing against you personally. It's just I want the Bears to win. You can understand. I wear this jersey.
It's just personal all the way.
Okay. He's a great guy. He knows if he says it, I mean, you heard what he said. And people have the utmost respect for him.
Oh.
It's just what it is. So we'll see you next week.
So
Peace.
Dejounte Murray is a top 5 guard in the league.